This is the Rangers POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Texas Rangers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, instead of taking the silver boot, the Rangers took the boot and the broom, and they got swept out of Houston, falling tonight to the Astros by the final of 5-2, losing the series, losing the game, and losing the season series 7-6. I confess I was much more upset last night because last night I still had a little bit of hope. Didn't today. I knew they were going to lose tonight. I hate to say that, but it's just the way the game works. It just when that happens, when it's over, and the good teams pull away, and the bad teams are roadkill. Sorry for the graphic description, but it's over. And like I said, I was really, really upset last night because thought they had a chance, was inspired by the way that they at least showed a little bit of fight, a little bit of life before losing, but too little, too late. And like we discussed last night, this was not the team. This is not the team that we have seen for the last couple of months or the last couple of weeks. It's unbelievable. And like I said, I'm not going to use the word joke because I love this team and I respect the guys too much, but that was not the same team. That's not the team. This team on the big stage tonight, this series, big stage, big pressure, did not do well. And and one thing I did want to say, and I didn't stress it last night, and I should have, and it's on me. But I mean, again, they are missing Corey Seager. They are missing Marcus Semien. Again, perfect world, a healthy Nathan Eovaldi, who knows? But that's not the hand they were dealt. That's not the hand they had this year. And so now it's going to be up to Chris Young and the front office to retool, rebuild, and find a way to make this team better and more competitive next season. And it's all about the season. Doesn't matter what you did in 2023. No guarantee that it's going to mean anything in 2024, which it didn't, and certainly did not hold up here in 2025. And on the flip side, you got to tip your cap and give the Astros credit. They have had an incredible run. You can't deny that. So the Rangers have some work to do, and so now they will head back home. Final homestand. Tyler Mahle back on the mound on Friday, and then they'll have one more weekend road series in Cleveland before they wrap things up. All right, here we go. Welcome into the Rangers POSTCAST, your team every day, and in our case, your team every single game. My name is Jeff Biggs, the longtime host and reporter. Thank you for watching Locked On Sports Rangers, your destination after every single game. You can also find us on the Locked On Rangers podcast feed. That's where you'll find the great work of Bryce Paterick every single day. Not going to spend a ton of time going over this one, but here we go.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Well, we're going to talk about Jacob deGrom a little bit more. We're going to talk about the 4-game losing streak, and also coming up later in the show, I do have an update on Kumar Rocker, so stick around for that. But look, last night, I should say Monday night was, to me, a must-win game. Last night was really a must-win game, and I thought tonight was absolutely a must-win game. And they lost all three. Clearly, everything going on, you can't lose 4 in a row. Jacob deGrom, I mean, how many times did we say during the season, man, I would love to see Jacob deGrom have a great postseason run, right? Nate Eovaldi, man, how awesome would that be to have Nate Eovaldi and Jacob deGrom 1-2 for a playoff run, right? Well, I mean that can still happen, maybe next season, but look, I mean, Jacob is one of my favorite players in the game. I mean, I literally, I mean, I marvel watching him pitch and throw the baseball. It's remarkable. And you know what? To his credit, I mean, he came back this year and a couple hiccups, but made 29 starts, and that's the good. But I think if we're all completely honest, really was not quite the same Dominic deGrom after the All-Star break, if we're, keeping it real. And so, look, you take this, but if I'm Jacob deGrom and I've already secured the kind of financial security that he has, I am doing everything I can in the off season to build up my strength, my stamina, whatever's in the whatever the routine is nowadays. And it changes all the time, but whatever the routine is for pitchers, I am devoting myself to that, and I am coming back next season on a mission, unfinished business. And I would be texting Nate Eovaldi, I would be texting some of the other guys on the pitching staff, and I would be like, hey man, let's go. We got something here, but we didn't finish. We came up a little bit short. Let's go after it. Let's get it done next season. That's what I would do. Okay. But he just was not quite the same. 2 more home runs tonight. You can see the frustration. The pitching is still there. The arm is still there. I mean, so just has to kind of, kick it up to another level. And I think he will. I do. I think he will. But this was a playoff game. This was a must-win game for the team. Nothing needed to be said. There was no, official thing. Had to win, and it didn't happen. So that's that. Again, you can't lose 4 in a row. This Ranger offense was playing so much better, and we talked about it. We talked about it on the homestand. We talked about it when they gained ground and they made ground. And I mean, what did we say? What did we all say last week? It was like, okay, great homestand. The sweep of the Brewers was awesome. The Rangers were right there, right behind Seattle and Houston. 2 weeks to go. The question was, the storyline was, who would step up and take it? Well, I mean, the Mariners and Astros are doing that. The Rangers, they've lost 4 in a row. That's it. I mean, that's it. That's it right there. Playoff teams don't do that. You don't lose 4 in a row right now. So anyway, when we come back, I'll give you the Kumar Rocker update. Want to get your thoughts. I'm not going to bang them too hard. Like I said, not 100%. Just missing 3 really good players, but can't use that as an excuse either, because there are a lot of teams around the game that are dealing with injuries and don't have their full roster. And this team was playing great up until this series. And so it is what it is. All right. When we come back, the RCC, this is the Rangers POSTCAST. All right. I want to talk to you about Prize Picks because, as you know, Prize Picks This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy app where making the right calls can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, right? But on Prize Picks, being right means cashing in, literally. And with football back, Prize Picks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes, all in less than 60 seconds. All right. It's quick, it's easy, and really a great way to follow along with football. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. What about Monarch Money? Did you know that most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments? And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting. You can link all your accounts in minutes. You can see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel like you're in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. So don't let this financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB. And lastly, it is game time, and it's all about game time. Love what they're doing at game time. And there's nothing like catching a baseball game live, right? I mean, the energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person, but actually getting the tickets, that is the tough part. You've got the queues, the login screen, surprise fees, really takes all the fun out of it. So you got to use the Game Time app. It gives you the advantage and it gives it back to the fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. Again, fees are included. You know your total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. All right, welcome back to the Rangers postcast. Rangers fall in Houston, 5-2 the final. Instead of getting the silver boot, they take the boot and the broom. TCG says 2 words, gutless. Peace Train says, I'm done. No more tickets until next year. Train Guy says, well, I appreciate your reporting. Hope you can come back next year. Just sucks that this year was absolutely frustrating. Alf, thank you for getting in, my friend. Hope you and Shirley are doing well. Hope you're feeling better. And please give us an update when you get a chance. Alf says it's been an awesome season regardless. Appreciate you and the RCC. Thank you for that, Alf. And thank you for the Locked On Cowboys plug. We did our squad show earlier tonight. Train Guy says, I still might go to one of the Twins games because I know I love going to the ballpark and I still support my favorite team. However, sometimes you have to make the call of no playoffs, right? Keith says, to hell with it. Let's get drunk and drown in our sorrows and cry like Bob from La Bamba. That's good. That was good, Keith. Keith says, man, if Zeke didn't get doubled up in New York, yeah, who knows? Yeah, I mean, if Wyatt catches that ball tonight, I don't know if it would have made a difference. But Nick says, all too often the bats just aren't there. It's just been a miserable waste of the best pitching staff in baseball. Been fun doing post-game therapy with all of you, though. Yeah, Nick, thank you. You have been a regular as well. Thank you for all of your contributions and to everybody else as well. Keith says deGrom was healthy all year. That's infuriating. Mark says absolutely disgraceful performance. Keith says Adolis might be back next year. His defense was great. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. I mean, to his credit, I know he took some heat and the offense was inconsistent, but he still played his butt off in right field. Still, to me, was a plus defender in right field. He was great with his glove. Had some big hits. Not sure what he's looking for. Not sure what the market is going to be. I think they still have his rights for another year or two, maybe one more anyway. So we'll see what they decide to do. Paul says the Brewers sweep was the final time they got our hopes up, only to roll over. Reoccurring theme this season. Yeah, when was the last time the Rangers were swept? The Rangers swept the series from the Astros. That's a good question. Keith says this is depressing. TCG says don't give up, guys. Maybe we can get them in the 10th inning of Game 4 of this. That's funny. Soldier X says, what an awful way to go out. This team has had the best pitching and defense for the majority of the year, and it collapsed in the biggest series. Yep. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, last week, last homestand, that was not the end of the season. Still had these games, and it did not work out. Did not work out at all. Couple more here. Mark says Stars training camp begins tomorrow. There you go. A couple more. G Patrol says, where did it go? Where did it all go wrong? 2 years ago, it seemed like we had the brightest future in baseball. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Some of the prospects have not panned out like they thought. That's one easy answer for sure. Laura Berry says, who do you think will be held the most accountable by management after the season? Coaches or players? I would say the players. I would say, Laura, I would say the hitters. I mean, they underproduced, period. Everybody goes through slumps. Everybody goes through bad stretches, but this team dug themselves in a 3-month hole with their lack of offense, and they just never recovered. And the sad thing is, right, when you look back at April, May, and June, right, I mean, if they had just won a handful more games, we'd be having a completely different conversation. But this offense was the problem. The pitching did their part. The defense did their part. The bullpen did their part. It was the offense. This lineup just could not produce consistently and did not do enough to help the team win games. That's it. All right. There's Noah says it's over. They gave it a run, but it's time to look to next year. I will try to enjoy the rest of the season. At least they are over 500 as opposed to last year. James says, is it just a coincidence that we haven't won a game since Garcia has been back? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Because he got the hit last night, had really three really good defensive plays tonight. I think it was, to the Astros credit. I mean, look, they've had a really, really good run, and the guys in that clubhouse, they know that the game cranks up to a different level at this time of the year, and they know how to do that. They know how to flip that switch, and I think it went the other way for the Rangers. They were rolling, playing great, looked like one of the hottest teams in baseball, swept the Brewers, and then they got to this series, and the Astros just turned the tables and basically eliminated them. And that's the part, honestly, that part infuriates me the most, is that not making the playoffs. That's awful, but to get swept and basically be eliminated by the Astros. The only thing that I fall back to on that is I remember that in 2023 when the Rangers ended their season in the ALCS. Don't think you'll ever be able to top that. But for now, though, this is bad, and wish it did not happen. I wanted them to at least get one win, at least get that, stupid silver boot back. But anyway. All right, really quickly before I go, Kamar Rocker is going to pitch for AAA Round Rock tomorrow, a couple of innings, and if everything goes well, sounds like they're going to try to get him in the rotation and let him try to end the season on a positive note, right? So we'll see how that goes. We'll talk more about that on Friday. I'm going to be with you still, even when they're eliminated, if they are and when. I'll be with you all the way until the end. So if you want to join the show and be a part of it, please do. If you don't, I totally get it, and we'll do it again next season. Also, I meant to say, when talking about Jacob deGrom, I don't, especially if they get officially eliminated this weekend, I don't see why you would start him again. I really don't. I don't see no reason to, no need to push it. Let him begin the recovery and let him get ready for next season. All right, guys. Love you guys. Enjoy the day off tomorrow. Sorry we didn't get a win tonight, but thank you for getting in anyway. Appreciate it very much. We'll do it again Friday night after the opener with the Marlins. This has been the Rangers POSTCAST.